talk about how to leave a good impression through participation. It's very important. Body language is the first thing I think is most important to think about here. Body language means, of course, how you carry yourself, how you stand, how you sit, your attentiveness, all of that is important. What does it say to you if I'm your audience member and I'm slouching in my seat and I'm texting and I'm doodling? What does that say to you? Yes, sir?
You don't care.
That you don't care. Yes. What else? Yes, ma'am?
Uninterested.
Yep, uninterested. You just don't care. What does it say to you if I am talking to other people while you're talking? Yes, ma'am?
You're not paying attention.
You're not paying attention, right. On the other hand, what does it say to you if I'm sitting upright in my chair, if I'm making eye contact with you, if I'm nodding when you speak?
That you're fully engaged in the conversation.
Yes, that you're fully engaged in the conversation. Well put. There's no better way to put it. Very important to do that. That's part of leaving that impression that people remember. They will also remember the person who slouched and didn't listen, but not for the best reasons, right? The other thing I'd like to talk about is listening to hear. That's a big deal. So if you're sitting and you're attentive and you're nodding, hopefully you're not doing that because you've been told to nod, but because you're actually hearing and you're listening to hear, meaning that you are listening so that you understand what's being said and you can respond. You can actually have dialogue with the person if that opportunity comes up, okay? The third thing is appearance. Very important. Everybody looks very nice today. And appearance is very important. You will remember the person who's put together. You'll say to yourself, that's someone I'd like to represent my company or my college or university if they look nice. So it's very important. And the fourth thing is asking good questions. This is a tricky one. A lot of times when you've been a student for many years, as you all have, you think about being lectured at sometimes. You probably all have some classes, though, where you've had some very good exchange with the teacher. There you can actually have some conversation. They ask a question, you can answer back. And you may have had some classes where you can actually do that without raising your hand. That's part of being more mature as a high school student. You are showing that person that you understand what they're talking about, and they're engaging, as you said, engaging you in conversation. So very important. The other things I have to remind you about are these, and I wish I didn't, but in the age we live in now, it's important. No cell phones. So let's say, for instance, you have someone visiting your classroom, such as myself. Have you had that, people visiting you in your classroom to talk about their professions? Yes? Okay, yes. No cell phones is very important. I hate to have to say it, but we have to talk about that. Even in some of the visits to businesses, very important that you turn it off before you walk into the building so that it doesn't ring. It's just rude. It's for the same reasons we talked about before, so that they know that you're engaged and interested in what they're saying. And then finally, no handling of other people's things. Now, I know that no one in this room would do this. I know that nobody here is guilty of this, but I have heard stories in the past about schools that have visited businesses and gone in for a tour, and they actually start touching things on people's desks. And I even heard a horrible story about someone breaking something that was precious to the person who worked there. I know no one here would do that, but I just have to put that out there that that's another very important element of good impression when you're visiting, right? Is that starting to make sense? Good. And I want to remind you that civility costs nothing and buys everything.